Chosen one. Listen closely. Heaven has pressed pause so that this moment can reach you without distraction. You have done something recently, almost without realizing it, that cracked open the door of destiny. A single step, a choice, a decision birthed not in chance but in divine alignment. You might think it was small, but in the courts of heaven, it was monumental. And now the ripple begins. You are not like the rest. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand apart, to carry a light that shakes the kingdom of darkness. That recent action was not ordinary. It was a trigger, a divine activation that set invisible gears in motion. The law of assumption wrapped itself around your choice. And now, heaven and earth lean forward to see how far this will go. Every sleepless night you endured, every tear you thought was unseen, every prayer whispered in secret, none of it was wasted. All of it prepared you for this moment. You are walking proof that God has been writing a story over your life, one that even your enemies could not erase. They tried to push you down, but your spirit refused to break. They tried to silence you, but your voice grew louder in silence. Chosen one, you must not dismiss what has happened. You felt something in your spirit when you made that decision. That stirring was heaven's witness. This is why you sense change in the air, because you stepped into alignment. And when alignment happens, acceleration follows. You wonder why resistance has always seemed sharper in your life than in others. It is because you carry a mantle. They do not. Your footsteps echo in the unseen. And even before you understood it, darkness recognized your authority. That is why attacks were fierce. But grace was fiercer. Do not question whether you are worthy. Heaven did not choose you because of flawless perfection, but because of willing surrender. Brokenness has never disqualified anyone. It has only made vessels more ready to carry light. Every scar becomes a testimony, every failure a stepping stone to revelation. Now you stand at a threshold where the next move matters. The earth groans for the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God, and you are part of that unveiling. Do not shrink back. Lift your head, steady your heart, and remember, you are not walking alone. Millions will be touched, not by your perfection, but by your authenticity. They will feel seen in your story, and they will recognize hope in your journey. That is why this beginning matters so much. From your single step, a movement rises, and from your small obedience, a harvest multiplies. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Do you see it? That is why things are shifting around you. You didn't need to push harder, strive harder, or force open doors. Heaven has already stationed its armies. Your stillness was your weapon. Your surrender was your breakthrough. Beloved, the law of assumption is not mere philosophy. It is spiritual law. You assumed, even faintly, that God was with you. You acted in faith, even when logic mocked you. That assumption rewrote your script, and the world is now bending toward your expectation. This is why people will begin to notice you differently. Why opportunities you never chased will come looking for you. The vibration of heaven is upon you, and your atmosphere is about to change. But understand this: new levels bring new warfare. Darkness will test you. Doubt will whisper, Old voices will try to reattach themselves to your spirit. Do not listen. Do not waver. Stand firm. This is the awakening trigger. The first step into the unfolding of millions impacted by your obedience. And now, I call you to action. If you have felt the fire stir while hearing these words, do not remain silent. Lift your voice. Declare your agreement. And align publicly with your calling. Subscribe to this channel so you never walk alone in this journey. Like, share, and let others who are wandering in silence hear what you now know. Let this message ripple outward until it reaches every ear that heaven has marked. Finally, type boldly in the comments below the prophetic number 777, for it represents divine completion and heaven's seal upon what has begun in you. This act is not a gesture of vanity, it is a declaration in the spirit realm. By typing it, you mark yourself as one who hears, one who obeys, and one who steps forward into destiny, beloved chosen one. This is only the beginning. You triggered heaven's attention. Now watch as the harvest of millions unfolds. Chosen one. The confirmation has been quiet, almost hidden, yet undeniable. You have noticed subtle signs, tiny alignments that cannot be brushed aside as coincidence. The world calls them chance. Heaven calls them whispers. Each one is a gentle reminder that your recent actions stirred something beyond your understanding. The silence of your nights has been broken by moments that feel significant. Even if they pass quickly, a phrase you overhear, a repeated number on the clock, a stranger's unexpected kindness, all of these are confirmations. They arrive like drops of water onto thirsty soil, quietly nourishing the roots of what you planted. You may not see the full tree yet, but you cannot deny the shoots breaking through the ground. This is the law of heaven. Seeds do not remain hidden forever. Your assumption births expectation, and expectation carries life. You thought you simply made a decision, but heaven translated it into motion, creating echoes. You now begin to recognize. Chosen one. Do you notice how peace rises within you, even when circumstances around you remain unsettled? That peace is not random, it is proof that heaven is near. The quiet confirmation is God's signature, stamped invisibly across your days, telling you, do not fear, I am here. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. These words breathe over your life right now. You have leaned not on your understanding, but on a deeper knowing. That knowing is why, even when logic warned you against your step, you felt compelled to take it. And now, paths you never carved are straightening before you. Sometimes the confirmation is not in a dramatic sign, but in the persistence of inner peace, peace that should not be there, given your situation, peace that defies anxiety, that holds you steady in storms. That peace is not weakness, it is the voice of God echoing in stillness. Chosen one, your recent decision has already created a ripple effect. The first wave may seem small, but the sea is shifting. Do not underestimate how heaven builds momentum quietly at first. Then suddenly, you are in the quiet phase now, where confirmations come like whispers, preparing you for the roar that follows. Remember when you thought no one noticed your efforts. Your sacrifices, your silent battles, heaven noticed. Heaven kept record, and heaven repays in a way no human hand could. The quiet confirmation is God's way of reminding you that nothing was wasted, that every hidden act was seen, and that the return is now underway. This is why you sometimes feel as though you are being watched, not by people, but by something greater. The presence of God surrounds you like a cloud, subtle yet overwhelming. You are living under an open heaven, and even when you forget it, the signs are there to remind you. Chosen one. Embrace these confirmations. Write them down. Hold them close. Rehearse them when doubt creeps in. They are not coincidences. They are compass points, guiding you deeper into alignment. Every whisper points to a larger picture being formed. 1. You will only fully see when the canvas is complete. The quiet confirmation is also a test. It asks you, will you believe without needing fireworks? Will you trust the whisper when the shout has not yet come? Faith thrives in silence. It grows strongest when no one applauds, when no crowd cheers, when only heaven claps for your obedience. You are walking in that faith now, and heaven is already applauding. Even if you feel unseen, the angels have taken notice. The kingdom of darkness has grown restless, and the throne of God has leaned closer to you. This is not small. Chosen one. This is divine movement. So do not despise the days of quiet confirmation. These are the foundations upon which your influence will stand. Later, when millions gather to hear your voice, you will remember these silent signs and know that God was guiding you from the very beginning. Let your heart rest in this. You are not lost. You are led. You are not wandering. You are guided. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. And the proof is in the confirmations that surround you now. Each one whispering, yes, this is the way. Keep walking. And chosen one. Pause and listen. You have heard whispers of the law of assumption, but now it is time to see it in full clarity. This law is not the invention of self-help thinkers. It is the spiritual blueprint woven into creation. It is the invisible system that translates belief into form, expectation into experience, assumption into reality. What you carry within you is not a wish, it is a decree. Every assumption you hold about yourself is a seed planted in the soil of the unseen. When you assume failure, doors seem to close. When you assume rejection, people drift away. But when you assume victory, the very air around you bends to create pathways for that victory to manifest. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 12. The Lord said to me, "You have seen correctly, for I am watching to see that my word is fulfilled." Do you see it? Your assumptions aligned with God's word invite heaven's oversight. God himself watches over what you declare, not idly, but actively. The law of assumption is not about pretending, it is about embodying truth before the world can see it. Heaven waits for someone bold enough to stand in faith as though it is already done. Chosen one. You have already started this process. That recent decision of yours was not just an act, but an assumption dressed in action. You assumed you were worthy, and so you acted worthy. You assumed you were called, and so you stepped forward. You assumed heaven was with you, and so you moved as though angels marched at your side. That is why your atmosphere shifted. Now, the law multiplies. Every thought you choose, Every expectation you release into the world is writing the script of your reality. This is why the enemy attacks your mind first, because if he can distort your assumptions, he can twist the path before you. But you are awake now. You are no longer passive. You are chosen to shape destiny through the power of assumption. Do not think of this as imagination only. Think of it as alignment. You are aligning your inner posture with heaven's decree. You are no longer pleading for scraps. You are assuming your inheritance. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are assuming authority. And heaven backs those assumptions when they are birthed in faith and anchored in God's word. This is why others will be baffled by your confidence. They will wonder how you dare to move as though you cannot fail. But you will know the truth. It is not arrogance. It is assumption rooted in covenant. And when covenant fuels your assumption, the impossible bows. Chosen one. Understand this clearly. What you assume, you become. Your inner dialogue is not background noise. It is the architect of your future. That is why you must guard your words. Guard your imagination. Guard the stories you rehearse about yourself. Heaven is not ignoring those whispers. It is shaping reality around them. So take this moment to shift. Stop assuming loss and begin assuming abundance. Stop assuming delay and begin assuming acceleration. Stop assuming rejection and begin assuming divine connections. For what you carry is not just for you, it is for millions who will be touched by the overflow of your assumptions. And now, here is where I ask you to step into prophetic action. Type in the comments, "I choose victory." Do not dismiss this as simple typing. This declaration is your agreement in the spirit realm. By writing it, you are sealing your assumption in public view. You are telling heaven, earth, and even the forces of darkness, I am not aligning with defeat. I am aligning with destiny. Let your words become the contract of your future. When you type those 3 words, you are building a wall against doubt. You are raising a banner over your life that declares, my assumptions are not shaped by fear, they are shaped by faith. And heaven responds to faith with acceleration. Beloved, let me remind you, you are not playing small anymore. You are not drifting in silence. The law of assumption is a weapon, and it is in your hands. Wield it with boldness. Every time fear whispers, answer with faith. Every time lack speaks, answer with abundance. Every time defeat threatens, answer with victory. You will soon see the fruit of this shift. People will look at you and wonder how opportunities find you, how peace clings to you, how favor surrounds you, and you will know it was assumption transformed into reality. You dared to believe as though it was already done, and heaven honored it. Chosen one, do not shrink back. This is your hour. Live as though the promise is already fulfilled, and watch as the promise chases you down. For you are chosen not to dream, only you are chosen to manifest, and the law of assumption is your key. Chosen one. You have begun to see that what you carry inside is not just belief, but a crown of identity. You are stepping into the realization that you are not ordinary, that heaven's mark rests upon you. Accepting this is not pride, it is alignment. It is the recognition that your soul was crafted with purpose before you ever drew breath. You have tried in the past to downplay yourself, to blend into crowds, to act as though you were just another voice among many, but every attempt to dim your light only brought more discomfort. Why? because chosen vessels are never allowed to live comfortably in shadows. Your spirit resists being silenced because it was created to resound. This is where the law of assumption meets divine identity. When you assume smallness, you betray your calling. When you assume insignificance, you dishonor the one who set his hand upon you. But when you assume your identity as chosen, everything around you begins to rise in agreement. Circumstances shift. Relationships reconfigure. Even your atmosphere begins to recognize your authority. Chosen one. You are carrying a title the world cannot take away. It does not matter how many times they dismissed you, misunderstood you, or mocked you. Their rejection was never stronger than God's election. Heaven's decree outranks human opinion. The mantle you wear is invisible to most, but in the spiritual realm, it shines like fire. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 8, verse 5, "You have made them a little lower than the angels and crowned them with glory and honor." And do you feel the weight of this? You were not made to crawl in shame. You were made to stand crowned. Even your frailty cannot undo the honor God has placed on you. The glory and honor spoken of here are not temporary. They are woven into the very fabric of your design. This is why you sometimes feel the tension between who you used to be and who you are called to be. One voice whispers that you are not enough, while another voice thunders that you were created for more. That battle is not weakness. It is the collision between false assumptions and divine truth. You are being pulled upward, out of the lesser story, into the greater one written for you. Chosen one. Accept the mantle. Stop apologizing for the weight you carry. Stop shrinking back from the authority you were born with. When you accept this mantle, you give permission for others to do the same. Your courage becomes their invitation. Your acceptance becomes their awakening. Understand this: crowns are not meant to be hidden. A crown is a declaration of belonging, authority, and destiny. You were never meant to live as though you were common. You were never designed to stay silent when light calls you to speak. Every step you take in the fullness of your identity disrupts darkness. That is why the enemy has worked so hard to keep you doubting yourself. But doubt cannot survive where truth takes root. And the truth is this: you are chosen, crowned, and called. Nothing in your past disqualifies you. Every scar only shines brighter against the crown you wear. The glory is not in perfection, but in divine election. Chosen one. Think of it this way: the law of assumption is not about pretending you are crowned. It is about realizing you already are. You are not reaching for worthiness. You are walking in it. You are not begging for validation. You are embodying the truth that heaven already validated you. That is why change feels so close. Because assumption is catching up to identity. Now the question is not whether you are chosen, but whether you will walk as chosen. Will you carry yourself with the dignity of one crowned with honor? Will you speak with the authority of one marked by heaven? Will you step boldly, knowing that every assumption you hold is backed by the throne itself? This is the moment where you must shift from hesitance to embodiment. Do not just think chosen. Live chosen. Breathe chosen. Move chosen. Let your words echo the authority you carry. Let your decisions reflect the crown you wear. Let your presence remind the world that heaven is still writing stories of glory upon the earth. Chosen one. Remember this: you did not earn this identity. It is gift. It is grace. And because it is gift, no one can strip it from you. The world may not understand it, but the spiritual realm recognizes it. Every step you take forward causes tremors. Every time you stand in your authority, chains break, not just for you, but for those around you. So wear the crown without apology. Walk the path without hesitation. You are chosen not for the sake of title, but for the sake of transformation. Through you, light will shine, truth will spread, and countless lives will awaken. Your mantle is not a burden, it is a mission. Chosen one. Every story of destiny has its moment of fire. You are now in that refining place. The furnace may feel overwhelming, but it is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to purify you. What you are walking through is not punishment. It is preparation. Think of gold. Raw gold does not shine. It is buried, covered with earth, scarred with impurities. Only fire reveals its brilliance. The flame removes what does not belong, and what emerges is treasure. You, too, are in that process. Heaven has placed you in a furnace not to burn you, but to reveal the crown already hidden within you. The ancient words recorded in Romans, chapter 8, verse 18, still echo today. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. 1. Do you hear that promise? What you feel now, the heaviness, the trials, the misunderstandings is nothing compared to the glory about to be revealed through you. Every tear has weight. Every trial has meaning, and none of it will be wasted. But in this refining fire, there is a calling deeper than your own survival. The mission is not only about you, it is about the millions your story will touch. Just as a lighthouse endures storm after storm, but keeps shining to guide lost ships, you are enduring so that others might find safe harbor through your light. Chosen one, let me speak with open hands and a transparent heart. This journey we are walking together requires more than words. It requires community. Just as a single ember cannot keep burning alone, but stays alive when joined with others, so too this mission thrives when we carry it together. That is why I ask, humbly yet boldly, support this work. When you like these messages, it is as though you are adding oil to a lamp so it burns brighter. When you share them, you are casting seeds into fields you may never see, yet harvest will surely grow there. When you subscribe, you are building the pillars that hold up this sanctuary of light. And when you donate, you are not just giving money, you are building an altar, laying a stone that becomes part of the eternal house God is constructing through this movement. Imagine a stream flowing gently through dry land, alone. The stream waters only a small patch, but when many streams join, they form a river that floods valleys and awakens forests. Your contribution, however small it feels, joins the streams of countless others, and together they form a river of transformation. That river reaches nations, hearts, and souls who thought hope was lost. Do not underestimate the weight of a single action. Just as a spark can ignite a forest, your support can ignite a movement. And remember, this is not about obligation. But participation. You are invited, not pressured. You are called, not coerced. Your hand on this plow helps us move further, faster, together. Chosen one. The refining season is heavy, but you are not meant to walk it alone. You are part of a divine tapestry, threads interwoven across time and space. Every like is a golden thread. Every share, a brilliant color. Every subscription, a stitch of strength. And every donation, a knot that holds the fabric together. Look at the picture heaven is weaving. It is vast. It is beautiful. And your thread matters. So as you continue forward, let your heart remain open. Support where you can, in the way you can, with the spirit you carry. Heaven measures not by the size of the gift, but by the purity of the heart. Even the widow's mite was noticed, remembered, and honored because it was given in love. Chosen one. Your fire becomes someone else's light. Your endurance becomes someone else's encouragement. Your contribution becomes someone else's salvation. That is why this refining moment matters so deeply. And that is why this mission must grow, expand, and multiply, because what has been entrusted to us is not small. It is eternal. So, walk through the fire with courage. Shine in the darkness without apology. And when you add your oil, your spark, your thread, you know this, you are helping build not just a channel, but a movement of heaven on earth. Chosen one. There are moments when the world seems to whisper messages too precise to ignore. You look at the clock and see the same pattern again. You dream in symbols you cannot explain, but somehow understand. A conversation with a stranger feels rehearsed by heaven itself. These are not accidents. They are signposts. Your recent step into destiny activated something in the unseen realm. And now, confirmations arrive as signs along your path. Numbers repeat because the universe is emphasizing alignment. Dreams resurface because heaven is replaying the message until you embrace it. Even silence carries weight. As if God Himself is speaking in the spaces between your thoughts. And when you notice these signs, your spirit feels a gentle stirring like a candle flickering when a door opens. That is heaven's breath, reminding you that you are not walking blindly. You are accompanied, guided, and safeguarded. Every step aligned with a divine pattern written long before your birth. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you." Do you see? The signs are not random. They are the echo of your asking, the evidence of your seeking, the response to your knocking. Every pattern you notice, every nudge you feel, is a door quietly opening. Heaven is confirming that your choice was heard, your faith was seen, and your step was recorded. Chosen one. Do not dismiss these signposts. To ignore them is to miss the compass God has laid before you. They are guidance systems, pulling you into alignment. Think of them as breadcrumbs scattered across the wilderness, leading you out of confusion and into clarity. Follow them with reverence, and you will not be lost. Dreams, too, are not to be underestimated. In the night, when your defenses are lowered and distractions are silenced, God plants truths too weighty for your waking mind to carry. That image, that voice, that strange encounter in your dream, they are layers of meaning, seeds of instruction. Write them down, revisit them, hidden in the marquees for your next season. And what about the encounters that feel like chance? That person you bumped into, that phrase overheard, that unexpected delay that kept you from harm. Heaven was choreographing those details. Nothing is wasted. Everything is arranged with precision. The moment you stepped into faith, Angels began weaving circumstances like threads, pulling them into patterns that only make sense when you step back and see the whole tapestry. Chosen one. This is why your awareness is crucial. Signs are wasted on the blind. Do not rush past them. Pause. Reflect. Ask, what is heaven telling me here? For when you treat the signs with honor, their meaning multiplies. Heaven rewards attentiveness with greater revelation. Do not let fear twist the signs into paranoia. Darkness tries to counterfeit what God sends, but you will know the difference. Divine signs bring peace, clarity, and direction. Counterfeits bring fear, confusion, and obsession. Test the fruit. If it anchors you in truth and steadies your faith, it is from God. If it unsettles and condemns, let it go. You are chosen to walk this path with discernment. Not every number, not every dream, not every whisper is sacred, but many are. The more you walk in intimacy with heaven, the sharper your discernment becomes. Soon, you will not only notice the signs, but interpret them with accuracy, guiding not only yourself, but others as well. Beloved, consider this moment your training ground. Heaven is teaching you to listen, to watch, to see beyond the surface. For the millions waiting on your light will need guidance, and the signs you are decoding now will become the language you use to direct them later. Now, let me call you into prophetic action. Type boldly in the comments, 444. Why this number? Because it symbolizes stability, foundation, and the firm structure heaven is building under your feet. You are not drifting, you are standing on solid ground. By writing this number, you are declaring in the spirit realm, I recognize the signs, I honor the foundation, I choose to walk in alignment. It may feel simple, but this act seals the revelation. It marks you as attentive, awake, and responsive. It says to heaven, I see the signs, and I will not ignore them. And heaven always multiplies what is acknowledged. Chosen one. Never forget, the signs are love letters scattered along your path. Pick them up, treasure them, follow them. They are proof you are not forgotten, proof you are guided, proof you are chosen. Chosen one. Pause for a moment and consider this. Every mighty tree once existed as a seed buried in darkness. At first glance, nothing about a seed suggests greatness. It looks small, fragile, even insignificant. Yet within it lies forests, shade, fruit, and shelter for generations. Your recent decision was a seed. It may have seemed minor, an act of courage, a choice to step forward, a shift in mindset, but heaven treats these moments differently than earth does. What appears small in your hand is immense in the courts of heaven. That seed you planted through assumption and obedience has already broken soil. The unseen has been activated, and now growth is inevitable. The prophet Elijah spoke as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 44. The seventh time the servant reported, a cloud as small as a man's hand is rising from the sea. End of. Do you see it? The servant saw a tiny cloud, but Elijah recognized it as the beginning of a storm of blessing. In the same way, your small action is the cloud, and soon the rain will pour. What looks insignificant is the beginning of overflow. Chosen one. Never despise the day of small beginnings. Seeds always look powerless until time proves their strength. Buried beneath the soil, out of sight, they are already expanding, cracking open, pushing roots deeper. Your obedience planted such a seed, and heaven has watered it with promises. Soon, fruit will come. You may feel discouraged because you cannot yet see the full harvest. Patience is required here. The seed does not break overnight. It requires pressure, time, and consistency. The soil of silence is not abandonment, it is preparation. The waiting is holy. It ensures the roots grow strong enough to sustain the branches that will come. Chosen one. Recall how many times in your life you thought your sacrifices vanished unnoticed. But each one was another seed sown into eternity. Every tear shed in secret watered the ground. Every prayer whispered when no one heard became nourishment for roots. Every step you took against fear pressed the soil tighter around your seed, ensuring its protection. Seeds. 2. Face resistance. The soil presses heavy upon them, yet it is that very pressure that strengthens the shoot to break through. Without pressure, growth would be weak. Without darkness, roots would not develop. What you feel as heaviness now is actually heaven's way of fortifying you for the harvest to come. Chosen one. Understand this. The seed you planted is not just for your own blessing. Seeds always multiply beyond themselves. A tree does not eat its own fruit. It produces for others. Likewise, your obedience, your decision, your assumption will ripple outward, feeding, sheltering, and healing others. This is why the harvest connected to your seed will reach millions, even now, though you cannot yet see it. Things are rearranging around you. Relationships, opportunities, and resources are shifting to prepare for your growth. What you sowed is pulling new patterns into place, like roots spreading silently beneath the earth. You will only realize later how much was happening while you waited in faith. Chosen one. Let this truth anchor you. God has never ignored a seed sown in faith. Every act of trust, no matter how small, becomes a point of multiplication. Just as 5 loaves and 2 fish fed thousands, so will your small step multiply into impact far beyond what you imagined. Do not compare your seed with another's harvest. You are in a different season. Some seeds sprout quickly, others take longer, but all are alive with potential. Trust the process. Trust the timing. The seed knows when to rise, and heaven knows when to release the rain. One day soon, you will look back on this moment and realize that what you thought was small was actually monumental. The seed you sowed was not just for this season, but for legacy. From it will grow influence, favor, and opportunity that stretch across generations. Chosen one, carry this image with you. Your seed is already alive. It has cracked open. It has begun its journey upward, and nothing can stop it now. The soil cannot hold it forever. The roots will anchor deep. The shoot will break forth, and the fruit will testify that your obedience was never wasted. And when the harvest arrives, it will not just bless you, it will transform everyone connected to you. Because the seed you planted was never only about you, it was about the countless lives destined to find hope, healing, and direction through the fruit it produces. Chosen one. Pause and consider the mystery of multiplication. A single spark can set a forest ablaze. One drop of dye colors an entire stream. One voice raised with conviction can awaken nations. That is the power of unseen multipliers. And it is the law now operating in your life. You believed your recent step was small. You assumed it affected only you. Yet, heaven works differently. The invisible realm multiplies the smallest act of faith into waves of transformation. What you thought was one seed is already becoming a field. What you thought was one step is turning into a journey that will carry millions. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, 2nd book, chapter 9, verse 10. Now he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your store of seed, and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. Do you feel the weight of that? Heaven does not just supply seed, it multiplies it. Your act of obedience was not the end. It was the beginning of an exponential process. The increase is not optional, it is inevitable. What was sown will be enlarged. Chosen one. This is why you cannot measure your progress with ordinary scales. Human eyes look at addition, but heaven operates in multiplication. Every word of encouragement you speak, every prayer you lift, every choice you make in alignment with destiny multiplies far beyond what you can trace. Think of a single stone dropped into water. The ripples stretch outward, reaching farther than the stone ever traveled. That is your life right now. You dropped the stone of obedience, and waves are forming, reaching shores you have not even seen. Somewhere, someone will feel the ripple of your faith and awaken. You may not realize it yet, but people are already being drawn to your light. Some will never tell you that your presence shifted them, but silently they will change because of what you carry. That is the unseen multiplier impact that goes beyond your direct reach. Influence that travels without your effort. Chosen one. You must understand, this is why the enemy fears you. He knows that if you fully accept your influence, you will become unstoppable. He has tried to convince you that your actions don't matter, that your voice is too small, that your seed is insignificant. But the truth is the opposite. Every small thing you do echoes eternally. Consider this. A candle may light only one room, but when another candle is lit from it, the flame doubles. And when 100 are lit, the original flame has multiplied into 1,000-fold brightness. That is your life. Each person touched by your story becomes a carrier of light themselves, spreading what you started until the world glows with it. Even now, unseen forces are arranging connections, opportunities, and encounters to amplify what you have begun. You think you are only speaking to a few, but heaven is preparing platforms, stages, and communities where your voice will carry further than you dreamed. The multiplier effect is already set in motion. Chosen one. This is why you must guard your assumptions carefully. Multipliers do not distinguish between faith and fear. They expand whatever you plant. If you sow fear, fear multiplies. If you sow faith, faith multiplies. Your responsibility is not to control the multiplier, but to choose the seed. Heaven handles the expansion, you handle the alignment. So do not despise the little things you do. The word of kindness, the act of generosity, the choice to believe rather than doubt. These are sparks that ignite fires far beyond what you will see with your own eyes. Only eternity will reveal the full extent of the multiplication. Imagine standing in a vast field at harvest time, surrounded by grain, stretching farther than you can see. Imagine realizing all of it came from one handful of seed you chose to sow. That is the picture of your destiny. The small act you made recently is already growing into a harvest beyond comprehension. Chosen one. Let this truth strengthen you. You are not laboring in vain. Even the smallest alignment has cosmic impact. Every assumption rooted in faith expands outward until it touches the lives heaven intended. Nothing is wasted. Everything is multiplied. And when the harvest comes, it will not arrive quietly. It will arrive like a flood, like rain that cannot be contained, like fire that leaps from hill to hill. The world will wonder how it began. And the answer will be simple. It began with one chosen soul, walking in obedience, believing against all odds. That soul is you, chosen one. The moment you stepped into alignment, the heavens rejoiced, yet the shadows stirred. Do not be surprised that resistance has risen. It is the natural response of darkness when light grows stronger. Your very existence, your very decision to live as chosen, disrupts forces that hoped you would stay asleep. Understand this: resistance is not evidence of failure, but confirmation of progress. If you were no threat, there would be no attack. The sudden doubts, the whispers of fear, the unexpected delays, these are not coincidences. They are strategies of sabotage meant to push you off course. But what darkness forgets is that you are built for battle. Chosen one. Remember that storms do not gather over empty seas. They gather over ships carrying precious cargo. The turbulence you feel is proof that you hold something priceless within you. Darkness would not waste energy if you were ordinary. Every pushback only reveals the extraordinary assignment stamped upon your life before time began. Even in the fiercest battles, you are not alone. Invisible armies surround you, shielding your path, strengthening your spirit, and whispering courage when your own heart trembles. What feels like isolation is actually divine protection. Heaven draws close in warfare, ensuring you endure. The greater the resistance, the clearer the evidence you are chosen. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication declared. Hold this truth tightly. Chosen one. Weapons may form, but they cannot prosper. Accusations may rise, but they will collapse under the weight of your vindication. Resistance may grow, but your heritage is victory. You were never meant to cower. You were destined to overcome. This is why the attacks feel personal. The darkness is not concerned with the masses. It is concerned with you. Because you carry the authority to influence millions, the enemy tries to silence you at the seed stage. He knows that if your assumption is allowed to grow, your light will multiply until his schemes are undone. But take heart. Resistance always reveals your power. A locked door proves there is treasure behind it. A storm proves you are sailing toward destiny. The attacks you face are not random. They are prophetic indicators of the greatness inside you. Chosen one. Hear this clearly. The doubts in your mind are not your voice. They are echoes planted to confuse you. But your true voice, the one heaven recognizes, speaks with authority, faith, and confidence. Do not give weight to lies. Speak truth louder. Proclaim what God has said, even when feelings disagree. When sabotage arises, Respond not with fear, but with firmness. When plans unravel, do not collapse, pivot with wisdom. When people betray you, do not curse them. Thank God for revealing what was hidden. Resistance cannot destroy you, it can only refine you. Every attempt to harm you will become fuel for your growth. Imagine a seedling pushing against the soil. The soil resists, yet that resistance strengthens the stem. Imagine a bird breaking free from its shell. The struggle is painful, but without it, the wings would never grow strong enough to fly. Resistance is not an enemy, it is a trainer. It makes you unshakable. So do not fear sabotage. Let betrayal sharpen your discernment. Let setbacks stretch your patience. Let warfare awaken your prayer. Each attack only proves how valuable your calling is. Heaven would not have invested so much if your destiny was small. And now, as a prophetic act, I call you to anchor your resolve. Type boldly in the comments, I will stand. These 3 words are not casual. They are defiance against every force that tried to push you down. They are a declaration to heaven that you refuse to collapse under pressure. They are a notice to darkness that no matter the sabotage, you will remain unmovable. When you type those words, you are not only speaking over your own life, you are setting an example for others who feel weak. You are reminding them that standing is victory. You are testifying that chosen ones do not break, they rise. Chosen one, let the resistance become your evidence. Every obstacle is a prophecy of the breakthrough waiting on the other side. Every battle is proof of the crown prepared for you. Do not despise the warfare. It is shaping you into a weapon heaven can wield. Stand, even when misunderstood. Stand, even when weary. Stand, even when it feels easier to walk away. For those who endure to the end will see what others only dream about. You are chosen for this, and no resistance can strip that away. Chosen one, even in seasons of fire. Heaven does not leave you without companionship. Sometimes the most powerful allies are not the loud ones, but the quiet ones, souls who arrive unexpectedly, carrying words of encouragement at the precise moment you need them. Their presence may seem ordinary at first, but in truth, they are divine reinforcements. Think of Elijah in the wilderness, weary and ready to give up. He thought he was alone, yet angels brought bread and water. That small gesture was enough to keep him moving. In the same way, heaven has been sending you allies in disguise, people who strengthen your hands, conversations that lift your spirit, even strangers whose kindness lingers like a song in your heart. Chosen one. Sometimes these allies are like hidden roots beneath a mighty tree unseen, yet carrying life to the branches above. You may not always recognize their presence, but their prayers, their kindness, their quiet strength flow into you, holding you steady when storms rage, ensuring you keep growing toward the light. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 12, "My command is this, love each other as I have loved you." Chosen one. These allies are a reflection of that love. They remind you that you are not called to carry the mission by yourself. Just as a single thread cannot form a tapestry, your journey requires others woven beside you. Alone, you shine like a candle. Together, you blaze like a wildfire across the earth. Some allies will stay for a lifetime, others will appear for a season. Do not despise either. Even a passing word can change a trajectory. Even a brief friendship can plant a seed of strength. Allies are not measured by duration, but by impact. Heaven knows when to send them, and heaven knows when to release them. But here is the truth. Chosen one, even though allies appear, the mission still requires a structure to stand. A vision without support is like a ship without sails. It cannot move, no matter how strong the wind. This is where you are invited to become both the bearer and the builder. When you like this message, you are not just clicking a button, you are lifting a torch higher, making sure its flame is seen beyond this room. When you share it, you are placing a lantern on someone else's path, guiding them out of darkness they thought was permanent. When you subscribe, you are joining a circle of fire, ensuring the warmth never dies out. And when you donate, chosen one, you are sowing into fertile ground. Think of it as rain upon a field. The harvest it produces will not only feed you, but countless others. Your gift becomes like bread placed in a basket. Heaven multiplies it until thousands are nourished. It may feel small, leaving your hand, but it becomes mighty in God's. Picture this, a bridge being built across a river. Each plank laid allows more people to cross. Every act of support, whether a like, a share, a subscription, or a donation, is another plank added to the bridge. And because of that, souls who would have drowned in despair now walk across into hope. You are not funding a project. You are fueling a movement. You are not supporting a voice. You are sustaining a sanctuary where countless chosen ones find their identity and strength. Like the widow who poured oil into the prophet's jar, your contribution will never be forgotten. Heaven records it, multiplies it, and turns it into legacy. Chosen one. Allies are heaven's way of saying, you are not alone. And today, you are called to be both a receiver and a giver of that truth. Receive the love and strength sent through others, and give your own flame so that the fire spreads further. Together, we become a company of chosen ones, marching as light bearers into the darkest corners of the earth. Do not underestimate the power of your support. It is the difference between a whisper and a roar, between a spark and a blaze. Alone, we can do little, but together, we are unstoppable. Heaven is building something eternal, and you are invited to help raise its walls, light its lamps, and guard its gates. So when you act, whether by encouragement, by engagement, or by giving, know this, you are stepping into the role of ally yourself. And one day, someone will testify that your simple action became their turning point, their spark of hope, their quiet confirmation that God had not forgotten them. Chosen one, take heart. Allies are rising around you. The mission is gaining strength, and together, we will see the harvest not only begin, but overflow. Chosen one, you may not have noticed it yet, but what has shifted inside of you is beginning to echo outward. The transformation you carry in secret is no longer invisible. People will start to sense something different about you. Even before you speak, your presence will declare change. At first, this unveiling will feel uncomfortable. You were used to being hidden, underestimated, overlooked. Now, without trying, you will find eyes turning toward you. You will walk into rooms and atmospheres will shift, not because of outward status, but because heaven's mark upon you is undeniable. What you embody cannot be hidden. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. End 1. This is the essence of what people will perceive in you. They will sense a steadiness that is not natural. They will recognize a love that is not shallow. They will encounter a power that cannot be explained by talent or training. It will be clear you are operating under a different spirit, the Spirit of the living God. Chosen one. Do not shrink back when this unveiling begins. The temptation will be to hide, to say, I am not ready, but heaven has prepared you far longer than you realize. Every hidden season, every lonely valley, every prayer whispered in tears, all of it was training for this very moment. The unveiling is not premature, it is perfectly timed. This public revealing will not look the same for everyone. For some, it will be a sudden opportunity, a platform opened, a promotion granted. For others, it will be subtler, a growing influence in relationships, a voice that friends and family begin to lean on, a steady rise in trust and responsibility. The form may differ, but the essence is the same. Your light is no longer confined. Remember, unveiling does not mean perfection. It means authenticity. The world is not waiting for flawless leaders. It is waiting for chosen vessels who carry honesty, humility, and courage. Your scars will speak louder than your strengths. Your battles will make your testimony believable. This is why heaven chose you, not because you were flawless, but because you were willing, chosen one. The unveiling will draw both admiration and resistance. Some will be drawn to your light, finding hope in your journey. Others will feel exposed by it, unsettled by what they cannot understand. Do not be surprised when both reactions come. Even Jesus carried crowds that adored him and enemies that plotted against him. Both are signs that unveiling has begun. As your influence grows, remember the foundation. Your authority flows from God, not from applause. Applause may fade, but God's call endures. Critics may rise, but God's word remains steady. Do not measure your worth by human reaction. Stand anchored in the truth that heaven has already validated you. This unveiling will not only affect you, it will ripple outward. Your words will carry more weight. Your decisions will influence more lives. Your posture will inspire others to stand taller. Even your silence will begin to speak. Because the authority you carry is not of this world. Chosen one. Imagine a lamp hidden under a bowl. The flame is still burning, but its light is trapped. When the covering is lifted, the room is immediately illuminated. That is you. Now, the covering is being removed. The light that once burned in secret is now shining in full view. And rooms, communities, even nations will be lit because you refuse to let your flame die in the dark. Do not be afraid of this unveiling. It is not exposure meant to shame you, but revelation meant to release you. It is heaven saying, the time has come. It is destiny declaring, the wait is over. What once felt like delay was only preparation for this moment of manifestation. Chosen one. Stand tall. Let your crown be visible. Let your voice be heard. You are entering the stage of influence not by accident, but by design. Millions will be touched by what you carry, and the unveiling will prove that your hidden obedience was never in vain. Chosen one, The weight of revelation is now resting on your shoulders. You have walked through awakening, confirmation, assumption, claiming, testing, signs, seeds, multiplier, resistance, and unveiling. Now the moment arrives when heaven asks, what will you do with it? For revelation without action is like a torch, never lit. It carries potential, but offers no flame. You have seen how your steps create ripples. You have tasted the strength of faith. You have noticed how heaven orchestrates confirmations along your journey. But the call of this moment is not observation, it is stewardship. Heaven is asking you to step into responsibility, to act with courage, to steward what has been entrusted to you. The Apostle Paul declared in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 20, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us." No, this is the truth you must carry. You are not asked to act from your own strength. You are asked to act from the power already at work within you. That power multiplies beyond what you can see, beyond what you can even dream. Your responsibility is not to calculate the outcome, it is to move in obedience. Chosen one. Heaven is not waiting for perfection. Heaven is waiting for willingness. You may think you are unqualified, that you lack resources, that you are too broken to lead. But what qualifies you is not your strength, it is your surrender. Every time you step in obedience, heaven multiplies your effort into impact. Now, hear this. Millions are waiting on your yes. The door you walk through will not open for you alone. It will open for many. Your courage will ripple outward, giving permission for others to rise. Your obedience becomes the seed of another's deliverance. This is why the call is urgent. Chosen one. Do not delay. Delay is the enemy's most subtle trap. He whispers, "Wait until you are ready," knowing that readiness never comes. But heaven says, "Move now, and readiness will meet you along the way." Every step you take creates strength for the next. Every small obedience builds a foundation for greater obedience. Think of a runner at the starting line. The muscles are tense. The heart is racing. The crowd is watching. The runner cannot wait until he feels completely calm. He must run when the signal sounds. That is you now. The signal has been given. The race has begun. You must move. And here is the prophetic action I call you into. Type boldly in the comments the number 333. This is not just a number, it is a declaration. It symbolizes divine completeness, multiplied, heaven's partnership with your action, and the alignment of spirit, soul, and body. By typing it, you are saying, "I am in agreement with heaven's call. I will not delay. I choose to act now." Do not dismiss this as small. Prophetic acts may look simple, but they carry great weight in the spiritual realm. Your typed number is a key, a mark, a public declaration that seals your obedience, and heaven honors what is declared in faith. Chosen one. This is more than a message, it is a commissioning. The mantle upon you is not ornamental, it is functional. It is a call to rise, to build, to speak, to heal, to lead. Millions will never meet you personally, but they will feel the impact of your obedience. Their stories will shift because you chose to move. Do not fear the unknown. Heaven has already prepared provision for every step. Just as manna fell for Israel day by day, so will heaven provide for you. Just as the Red Sea parted at the moment of obedience, so will impossible paths open before you. You are not walking alone. You are walking accompanied by power. Chosen one. Carry this truth into every step. You are chosen not just to dream, but to do. Not just to assume, but to act. Not just to receive, but to release. Heaven has trusted you with revelation. And now, heaven trusts you with responsibility. Rise into it. Step forward. Millions are waiting. Chosen one. The journey you walk is not only shaped by your actions, but also by the symbols that surround you. Heaven often speaks in numbers, patterns, and signs not to confuse you, but to remind you that creation itself is ordered and purposeful. Numbers are more than digits. They are divine fingerprints pressed upon the fabric of time. Think of how often you notice repeating numbers on clocks, receipts, pages, or even dreams. These moments are not random. They are echoes of alignment, reminders that heaven is close, whispering through symbols you cannot ignore. They are like divine road markers, telling you, yes, you are on the path. Keep going. Oh, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old, Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Oh, this truth is at the heart of prophetic numbers. They remind you that seasons are not endless, that each has its appointed time. Delay does not mean denial, it means preparation. Acceleration does not happen by chance. It comes when heaven's clock strikes the hour. Numbers are one way God reveals those timings to you. Chosen one. Recall how you noticed certain numbers after making that bold decision recently. That was no coincidence. It was confirmation. Heaven was marking the moment, etching it into the timeline of your destiny. Numbers became the language of assurance, telling you that the unseen realm had shifted in response to your step. Prophetic numbers also carry weight because they bind communities together. When one chosen one declares a number and others echo it, something profound happens. It becomes more than personal, it becomes collective, like a choir singing in harmony. The repeated number becomes a sound that reverberates across the spiritual realm, strengthening everyone who joins in. Think of Israel circling Jericho 7 times. The act may have seemed strange, but heaven recognized the obedience, the repetition, the pattern. Numbers were part of the key that brought walls down. Patterns, rhythms, and symbols are not empty rituals, they are divine strategies. Chosen one. This is why you must treat these numbers with reverence, not superstition. They are not magic charms, they are prophetic reminders. They do not replace faith, they reinforce it. They are not shortcuts, they are signposts. When heaven gives you a number, it is not to distract you, but to remind you, I am here, I am guiding, I am aligning. Sometimes these numbers are personal, an anchor for your specific journey. Other times they are corporate, meant for a community, a movement, a generation. Both matter, both carry weight. Heaven speaks differently depending on the scope of the mission. Chosen one. Do not dismiss these patterns. Write them down. Reflect on them. Ask heaven what they mean. You may not always receive an immediate answer, but even the noticing is an act of honor. and heaven always honors those who honor its signs. Do not be afraid of misunderstanding. Prophetic numbers are not chains, they are guides. If you miss one, heaven will send another. If you misinterpret, heaven will bring clarity. You are not walking a fragile path where one mistake ruins everything. You are walking with a Father who delights in guiding you gently, again and again. Chosen one. Consider also how numbers represent multiplication. One life touches another, which touches another, until the ripple becomes countless. Prophetic numbers are reminders of this multiplication, symbols of the exponential growth heaven has already set in motion for you. They whisper, what starts small will not stay small. Well, so when numbers appear, smile. When patterns repeat, pay attention. When signs align, pause and thank heaven for the reminder. You are not lost. You are guided. The numbers you see are the footprints of God on the path before you, confirming that you are walking exactly where you should be. Chosen one. Prophetic numbers are not meant to control your journey, they are meant to encourage it. They are whispers of heaven's order in the midst of chaos. They are reminders that even when you feel uncertain, heaven's rhythm is steady. And when you align with that rhythm, everything falls into place. Carry this truth with you. Numbers may look small, but their meaning is vast. They are proof of divine intelligence, signs of hidden order, and encouragements for weary hearts. They remind you that you are not drifting, you are moving in step with eternity's timeline. Chosen one. You are not wandering randomly. You are walking in rhythm. And every number that appears along your way is heaven's way of saying, keep going. Beloved, you are on time, on path, and on purpose. End of tree. Chosen one. With every step, you take deeper into destiny. The weight of responsibility increases. Influence is a gift, but it is also a test. Authority is granted, but it must be carried with integrity. Many desire the crown, but few are willing to endure the shaping required to hold it without corruption. The path of the chosen is not only marked by power, but by character. Heaven does not entrust influence to those who cannot be trusted in secret. It is in the unseen choices, the quiet moments, the hidden places of the heart that your true preparation takes place. Before the world applauds you, heaven watches you. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 4, the righteous person will live by his faithfulness. Alpha, faithfulness is the true test. Chosen one, not talent, not charisma, not outward appearance, but consistency, integrity, and devotion when no one else is watching. It is easy to display strength in public, but the chosen are those who remain steady in private. The applause of people fades quickly, but the gaze of heaven is eternal. Integrity means walking straight when no one would notice if you veered. It means guarding your words even when anger burns. It means refusing shortcuts, even when they promise quicker results. It means remembering that the mission is not about your glory, but about God's. Integrity is the invisible armor that shields you when temptation tries to seduce. Chosen one. The enemy knows he cannot destroy your calling, so he seeks to corrupt your character. If he can lure you into compromise, he can weaken the testimony of your influence. This is why the test of integrity is relentless. It comes in opportunities to betray small truths, to hide small sins, to justify small lies. Yet what feels small always grows. Seeds of compromise become forests of destruction. But hear this, you are not left defenseless. Heaven has given you a spirit of discernment, a conscience sharpened by truth, and the strength to walk away when darkness whispers. Every time you choose faithfulness over compromise, your authority deepens. Every time you honor truth, heaven entrusts you with more. Chosen one. Think of Joseph. Temptation pursued him daily, yet he refused to yield because of his integrity. Even false accusation could not stop the destiny appointed for him. What the enemy meant for harm, God turned into promotion. His character sustained the authority his gift attracted. Without integrity, his influence would have collapsed. In the same way, your integrity will become the foundation for everything heaven builds through you. It will keep you steady when success grows. It will guard you when people begin to admire your light. It will remind you that the mission was never about applause, but about obedience. Integrity also means stewardship. How you handle small resources will determine how you handle greater ones. How you treat the unseen will determine what you are trusted with in the visible. Do not despise small beginnings. They are tests. Do not dismiss hidden responsibilities. They are training. Heaven measures faithfulness long before it releases visibility. Chosen one. Remember this always. Influence without integrity is a collapse waiting to happen. But influence built on integrity becomes unshakable, unmovable, unstoppable. The storms may rage, but the house built on rock stands firm. The winds may howl, but the tree with deep roots does not fall. Integrity is your root system, your foundation, your anchor. And though the test of integrity is heavy, it is also holy. It purifies motives, clarifies vision, and humbles pride. It ensures that when power comes, you use it to heal rather than to harm, to lift rather than to exploit, to serve rather than to rule. Heaven does not elevate the arrogant, it crowns the faithful. So, chosen one, let this truth guide you. Your legacy will not be defined by what you gain, but by what you refuse to compromise. The world may forget your words, but it will never forget your character. The millions who look to you will not be transformed by your talent alone, but by the integrity that undergirds it. Stand firm. Therefore, guard your heart. Walk faithfully. Remember that heaven is watching, not with suspicion, but with hope, cheering for you to remain steady, to finish well, to carry the crown without letting it corrupt your soul. For those who pass the test of integrity are the ones heaven trusts with nations. Chosen one. Every wave of influence requires anchoring. Momentum is powerful, but without structure, it can scatter. What heaven has begun in you is not a passing flame. It is meant to become a fire that sustains, warms, and spreads. That is why this stage of your journey is about consolidation, gathering what has grown and building something that lasts. Imagine rain falling over a mountain. If there are no channels carved into the earth, the water rushes away and disappears. But when streams are shaped, the water flows into rivers into lakes, and lakes into oceans. In the same way, your influence must find channels, habits, systems, commitments that gather the flow and direct it to nourish others. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Strength and courage are needed here, because consolidation requires both endurance and humility. Endurance, to continue building even when you feel tired. Humility, to accept that what you are building is not for you alone, but for those who will come after you. The vision is larger than you, and it requires more hands than yours. Chosen one. Let me speak plainly. This mission is not sustained by one voice shouting into the dark. It grows when voices join together. When you like these words, it is as if you place a stone in the foundation of a cathedral. When you share them, it is like opening windows so the light spills into other houses. When you subscribe, you are helping raise the walls higher, ensuring the structure endures storms. And when you donate, you become a builder in the truest sense. Picture a vineyard. Seeds may be sown freely, but vineyards do not flourish without fences, caretakers, and wells. Your giving is not just support, it is water for the vineyard, protection for the harvest, and shelter for those who will soon gather within its gates. Every brick laid, every piece of support given, every act of participation is part of turning a fragile flame into an unshakable lighthouse. That lighthouse does not just guide you, it guides countless others who wander lost at sea, searching for a glimmer of hope. Without pillars, the light cannot stand, but with community, the light can pierce the darkest storms. This is where your role is vital. Your comment, your engagement, your presence in this journey, it matters. It is like the echo that confirms the mountain's call, like the voice that reassures others they are not alone. When you write your words beneath these messages, you are not just typing, you are testifying. You are building a chorus of chosen ones whose voices together roar louder than silence. Think of how a single tree provides shade, but a forest creates an atmosphere. Alone, your light touches a few. Together, or light alters climats, cultures, and nations. That is why consolidation is not selfish, it is sacred. It ensures that the flame entrusted to you does not burn out, but multiplies until it becomes a legacy. Chosen one, understand this clearly. You are not just a listener. You are a builder. Your actions in this moment, whether small or great, are the planks, stones, and beams of a greater structure. Heaven entrusted this message not just to be heard, but to be carried, multiplied, and sustained. So when you act, whether by sharing, subscribing, donating, or commenting, you are not merely participating, you are anchoring a movement. You are planting your footprint into eternal soil. You are helping carve streams that will one day become rivers of transformation, nourishing lives you will never meet, but who will bless your name before heaven. And never forget, you are not giving into emptiness. You are sowing into fertile ground. Heaven sees every act of support, records every seed sown, and multiplies every offering of love. Just as bread placed in Jesus' hands fed thousands, so your act, whether large or small, will be multiplied beyond measure. Chosen one, this is the beauty of consolidation. Together, we become unbreakable. Together, we become unstoppable. Together, we turn whispers into thunder, sparks into wildfires, and fragile beginnings into eternal legacies. So, step into this season with open hands. Be strong. Be courageous. Build with us. Let your light, your love, your support, your voice become part of this sanctuary of chosen ones. And know this, heaven sees, heaven honors, and heaven multiplies. Chosen one, there comes a moment in every divine journey when everything converges, where what was hidden becomes seen, what was promised becomes manifest, and what was planted begins to bloom in full sight. This is the crowning moment. It is not a random event, nor a fleeting stroke of luck. It is the culmination of obedience, the unveiling of destiny, the seal upon your calling. Throughout your journey, you have endured seasons of silence, storms of resistance, and trials of integrity. Each stage was not wasted. It was shaping you for this hour. Now heaven prepares to showcase what has long been cultivated in secret. You are stepping into visibility, not as a fragile flame, but as a blazing fire. Chosen one. Crowns are not forged in comfort, but in fire. Every lonely night, every hidden battle, every tear you thought went unnoticed became part of the molding. The weight you feel now is not punishment, it is the density of glory, pressed into shape by trials that proved you unbreakable. And as you rise, your crown will not only rest upon your head, it will radiate through your words, actions, and presence. Others will sense it before you even speak. It will become a living testimony that surrender births authority, and that the chosen are not crowned by men, but by the hand of heaven itself. We find in the book of Philippians, chapter 3, verse 14, I press on toward the goal to win the prize, for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. This is the posture of the crowning moment, not arrogance, but perseverance. You did not stumble into this season, you pressed through it. You endured when others abandoned. You rose when others collapsed. You believed when doubt screamed. That persistence has brought you here, and the prize is now within reach. Chosen one, do not underestimate what this crowning signifies. It is not only recognition of what you have carried, but empowerment for what is to come. A crown does not end a journey, it commissions one. It signals to heaven and earth alike. This one has been chosen, tested, and found faithful. The crown is not a trophy, it is a mantle. This crowning moment may not appear as a literal crown upon your head, yet its effect will be undeniable. People will see you differently. Opportunities will align suddenly. The same voices that once dismissed you will begin to acknowledge the authority you carry. But this is not about their approval. It is about heaven's decree. Chosen one. Remember David. He was anointed in secret while tending sheep. Yet, years passed before he wore the crown of Israel. His crowning moment was not when oil touched his head, but when the nation recognized what heaven had already established. Likewise, your true crowning is when what God declared long ago becomes undeniable to all who behold you. But here lies the test. Will you wear the crown with humility? Crowns are heavy, not because of gold, but because of responsibility. They remind you that influence is stewardship, not entitlement. That authority is service. not domination. That the greater the crown, the deeper the call to kneel before the throne of the one who gave it. Chosen one. In this crowning moment, your scars will shine brighter than your successes. People will not be drawn to you because of perfection, but because of perseverance. They will see the cracks where the light entered, the wounds that healed, the battles that shaped your strength. Your story will become the crown's testimony. Do not fear the attention this moment brings. It is not exposure meant to shame you, but revelation meant to release you. Just as a diamond is lifted from the earth to display its brilliance, you are being lifted to reveal the light placed within you. The crown is proof that the process was worth it. Yet even in this glory, remember, the crown points upward. It reflects not your greatness, but God's. Every eye that turns to you must ultimately be directed to Him. The crown is not the end of worship, but the continuation of it. You wear it, yes, but you lay it down in gratitude, acknowledging the King above all kings. Chosen one, stand firm in this hour. The crown is not a fragile ornament. Put a seal upon your destiny. Wear it with courage, with humility, with unshakable faith. Let it remind you that your journey was never random, that every tear, every battle, every silence was leading here. This is your crowning moment. Step into it boldly, for heaven has declared, earth will witness, and darkness will tremble. The chosen one has arisen. Chosen one. Every journey leads somewhere greater than itself. What began as a whisper in your soul has grown into a thunder that cannot be silenced. You have walked through awakening, confirmation, assumption, testing, signs, seeds, multiplication, resistance, unveiling, action, and crowning. Now you arrive at legacy, the place where your story becomes a movement, where your obedience becomes inheritance for generations. Legacy is not about monuments of stone or names etched into history books. It is about lives transformed, chains broken, and destinies unlocked because you chose to live faithfully. Legacy is the echo of your choices, reverberating in the lives of people you may never meet, yet whose stories will forever be tied to yours. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 6. But showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. Chosen one, your obedience is bigger than you. Heaven promises that faithfulness reverberates through generations. Every step of integrity, every seed of faith, every word of life spoken into darkness will ripple forward, touching children, unborn, and communities unformed. This is the power of legacy. It multiplies far beyond what eyes can see. You may never know how far the impact of your story reaches. A single act of kindness may spark a chain of hope that travels across nations. A word of encouragement may lift someone who will one day carry nations on their shoulders. A seed sown in obscurity may blossom into a forest that shelters thousands. Legacy is measured not by visibility, but by fruitfulness. Chosen one. Understand this. You are handing down a mandate. Just as Moses handed leadership to Joshua, just as Elijah passed the mantle to Elisha, you are entrusted to ensure that what you carry does not end with you. Legacy is not about hoarding light, it is about passing the torch. And when the torch is passed, the flame does not diminish, it multiplies. You are called to live with eternity in mind. Not only to think of what your choices bring you today, but of how they will shape tomorrow. Every time you stand in courage, you carve a pathway straighter for those who will follow. Every time you choose truth over compromise, you raise a standard higher for others to see. Every time you trust God in the dark, you leave a lamp burning for someone else to find their way. Legacy is also protection. It shields those who walk behind you from the mistakes you endured. It hands them wisdom you gained through tears, so they do not have to break as you did. It covers them with prayers you prayed in silence, prayers that will echo long after your voice is gone from this earth. But legacy also requires responsibility. You must live with awareness that your steps are not yours alone. They carry weight for others. Your courage liberates, but your compromise can also hinder. This is why the chosen live carefully, not in fear, but in reverence, knowing their lives are seeds for generations. Chosen one, look at the tapestry of your journey. Each trial was a thread, each breakthrough a color, each season a stitch. What you thought were random fragments are now woven into a pattern larger than yourself. And when others see it, they will not only admire its beauty, they will find their place within it. That is legacy. When your story becomes the framework for someone else's courage. And remember this, legacy is not reserved for the powerful or famous. It belongs to every chosen one who dares to live faithfully. Heaven values obedience over applause, consistency over fame, love over recognition. What you hand down will not be remembered in headlines, but in hearts. And hearts are where true eternity is written. Chosen one. The future is watching. Generations yet unborn are waiting for your choices. The torch is in your hand. Now, carry it boldly. For when your race is done, others will take it further. And the light will not dim, it will blaze brighter because you dared to run with it faithfully. This is your mandate, to live, to build, to pass on, to ensure that your life is not a closed book, but a living testimony that multiplies through time. Your legacy is not only about who you become, but about what others become because of you. So step into this season with reverence and courage. Walk as one entrusted with more than a moment, with a mandate that shapes eternity. And when you are gone, your light will not fade, for it was never just yours. It belongs to the movement, the generations, the kingdom. You are chosen. Your story is legacy. Your mandate is eternal. Chosen one. You have walked through the full arc of this message, from awakening to legacy. If these words stirred something in your soul, it is because heaven itself is confirming your place in the divine story. You were never ordinary. You were never random. You were chosen, refined, crowned, and commissioned. And now, I invite you, don't let the fire stop here. Just as a flame burns brighter when more air is given, this movement grows when you breathe life into it. When you like this message, it's as though you lift a torch higher, ensuring others can see its light. When you share it, you scatter seeds into fields you may never enter, but harvest will still grow there. When you subscribe, you step into a circle of endurance, ensuring you are not just touched once, but continually strengthened along the way. And when you choose to donate, know this, you are watering soil that will produce fruit for countless others. Your contribution, no matter the size, becomes like a drop joining a stream, forming rivers that reach far beyond what any single voice could. Finally, let your voice be heard. Comment below, not only as a sign of agreement, but as a testimony. Your words may be the very confirmation another weary soul needs today. In a sea of silence, your comment is a lighthouse. Chosen one. This is your moment to act. You've received. Now, release. You've been blessed. Now, build. And together, we will see the fire spread until millions know the truth. They, too, are chosen.